Thing of the week, thing of the week, it's your ink thing of the week. Yeah. Hey there. If you'd asked me about a year ago, give me the top 3 things that I like about the Supernote, easily one of the first things I might come up with is a 2-finger eraser function. And what this is basically is that you can take your 2 fingers, you place it on the screen, and then you take your stylus, and then you can do an area eraser. And you can just so quickly erase items. It's just better to do it in the flow of your writing as opposed to trying to click on a menu. So unfortunately, what's happened over a couple iterations of updates from Supernote is that the reliability of that 2-finger function has really varied. And actually, we've reached a point where most of the time it actually doesn't work for me the first time. And it's been frustrating as I've tried different places on the screen to get that feature to work. And including going onto Reddit and trying different techniques that folks have talked about there. So it's so much so that when I recently recorded a 2-part video about why Supernote's so great, I didn't even talk about this 2-finger eraser function. Because while maybe a year ago I thought it was one of the most amazing things, it had just become too inconsistent for me to bring it up. And I just didn't feel like I could talk about it in these videos, given how it had changed over time. Well, since then, I've learned a particular technique that, using the current firmware, allows that 2-finger eraser function to be used consistently. So we're going to go ahead and demonstrate that. I'll walk through how I use that technique now, and I'll walk through why this technique is so important. So hopefully you find this helpful. Let's take a look. Okay, so this is how you make this 2-finger eraser feature work. So what I was doing previously is I would put my 2 fingers anywhere on the screen, and in some cases just trying to make sure that I was kind of toward the left and above the stylus. But the technique that seems to work more consistently and fairly well is to take your 2 fingers and to place them here in the corner. Imagine a corner right there. Let me draw it out, actually. Okay. So by putting my 2 fingers here, just gently taking my 2 fingers and touching the screen, and then circling, I have the eraser feature. Let's do that again, just for a demonstration. And it works a lot of the time. I don't have to hit the device hard. I don't have to worry about spreading my fingers out too much. Just like that. Touch the screen, and it works. Using this technique, I can almost always get the eraser function to work the first time. And once again, this is one of the greatest functions on any e-note-taking device. The 2-finger eraser function is just so helpful into the flow of what you're doing. If you imagine I'm writing notes in a meeting, and I'm also probably helping to facilitate that meeting. So I'm not only writing notes about what other people say and agreements that we've come to, but I'm also trying to make sure the meeting moves forward accordingly. I'm doing a lot of roles in the meeting. So when I write something out, I just kind of write something out, and it's like, oh no, I've got to make a correction. I can do that so quickly and then just keep going. The 2, instead of, I write something out, okay, let me click on the eraser, let me go like this, let me click on the pen, let me keep erasing. See, having to go to the menu isn't nearly as elegant as the 2-finger eraser system. And now that I know the technique is to kind of put that in this triangle area, this once again becomes one of the greatest attributes of the Supernote and is far superior to anything anyone else is doing.